engaging celebrity interviews, exciting updates from Christian filmmakers, movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely, and so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Faith on Film. I'm Isaac Hernandez here with my co-host, Holly McClure. Holly, what do we have for everyone today?
Hi, Isaac. Well, we've got a movie that both of us watched and was very different, but we liked it. And then some didn't like it, and we'll tell you why. It's called Trail of Vengeance by Skipstone Pictures and our friend Johnny Remo, who, listen, Johnny's been around for a long time. He was on One Life to Live, General Hospital. He's in the movie Inner Space. He was an actor who then became a producer, director, even writer, and has written movies that you and I have reviewed, Hard Flip, Cutback. Those are the teen movies that he kind of started off doing. He did Freddy, F-R-E-D-I, if people remember that. Max Winslow in The House of Secrets, Monstrous, The Chariot. I mean, really, he's done a lot of movies, I think 17 or 18. So he's with us today talking about his film career and especially Trail of Vengeance.
Well, I tell you, one of my favorite ones of his was Like a Country Song. That was just a really good, for me, it was a really good movie. This one is definitely very different, and you had a great interview with him.
Well, let people see and think for themselves.
All right, let's take a look at the trailer and then on to your interview with Johnny Remo.
My mama used to tell me, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. I gotta believe if there is a God.
Might be a good idea to drop your gun.
Pay evil men for the evil that they do.
I hope you're right.
I need you to find the rest of those woods. Nothing but a murdering bastard. You know where they are.
William Kirkwood was my husband. I know Caleb used to work with the Pinkertons.
They're killers. No good will come from your pursuit.
And I'm gonna die trying.
Master tried to blackmail me and you let his wife live. She was with child. I don't care if she's the virgin mother herself! Go back there and kill her!
Wish I knew why bad things happen to good people. And good things happen to bad people.
Did you learn to shoot like that?
My daddy taught me.
Suppose you aim to kill me here? Question is, am I gonna have to torture you to get what I want?
Good shot if nothing else.
Why did he kill my husband?
The colonel had Quantrell massacre men, women, children. The woods knew about it.
He had them killed so he could cover up all the blood he spilled.
We got a problem. He's a wood. I thought you killed all the woods. We didn't know about it.
You ready?
Oh, I've been waiting for this day.
Let's get this done with.
I need to see this through.
Figured you might. I'm gonna do something I should have done a long time ago.
Well, I don't imagine that was to kill me.
Where is she?
I don't know.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
Well, with me today is the producer, writer, director himself, Johnny Remo. Johnny, welcome to Faith on Film.
Thank you, Holly. It is a pleasure to be here.
You know, we have, I've reviewed your movies for years. I mean, really for years, and have followed you in your career. But I'm excited to see lately you've been taking on bigger projects and really different projects for Skipstone Pictures, haven't you?
Yes, we branched out quite a bit and got to, because of the success of our other films, got to branch out and do bigger films, which is great, and work with some amazing actors, some of my favorite actors of all time. And just very blessed. It's been great. Very thankful. And as I said, just feel very blessed.
Like in my introduction, I remember Freddy and Saved by Grace and Hard Flip, Cutback. I mean, there've been great movies and fun faith-based movies, as we kind of call them. But I love this Trail of Vengeance is your latest one. And it has a very different feel. First of all, Graham Greene, kudos. One of my favorites from Dance to the Wolves and on. Oh my gosh, you've got one of the greats, and you have a great cast as well. Jeff Fahey. Oh my gosh, he's been around for a long time, and others. Talk about Trail of Vengeance and how this is a very different film from other westerns, I think.
Well, I think what makes it, so again, about the cast, we have Rumer Willis, who's great, Bruce and Demi's daughter, who did an amazing job. We have, as you said, Jeff Fahey, who's been in anything and everything you can think of, including Kevin Costner's Horizon 1 and 2. He was in Silverado way back. He was the original Lawnmower Man. I mean, Greg, Jeff and I were on One Life to Live together in the late 80s. That's how long I've been. Yeah. That's when I was young and had hair.
And you were an actor, by the way. We've kind of not even mentioned that. You've been an actor in word productions, so you know the world, the acting world.
Exactly. That's how I learned a lot of stuff, is being on sets. And like I said, Graham Greene, Oscar-nominated actor. We have two guys from 1883 that's great in it. And Jeremy Sumpter, who was the original Peter Pan. So, it's a great cast. They did a great job. What makes it different, and what we always try to do too, even in movies that aren't, faith-based, is that we throw faith in there when you can. We don't shoehorn stuff in there, but there's a scene, I think you saw the movie, Holly, where
yes, I did.
And not to give too much away, where the Rumer is burying her husband, and she literally asks for Jesus Christ to accept him into his kingdom. So appropriate, we don't just, like you said, just throw stuff in there. Oh, we got to throw stuff in there. But, our movies, all of them, even the ones that, are more on the secular side, have faith content in them. And we never, ever, ever use F-bombs or GDs or any of that in any of our movies. Every once in a while you'll have a damn or something, but that's very few, far and few between. But we try not to ever use an expletive ever in a movie. It's not necessary. We don't do stuff that deals with, just anything demonic or anything to do with, kids being abused or drugs or alcohol or any of that abuse. It's just not what we do. Don't want to do it, don't need to do it, and you couldn't pay me enough to do it. So we try to do that with all of our movies. But Trail of Vengeance, what's great about it is that there's a character in it named John Scobell.
Yes.
John Scobell, yes. And so John Scobell, if you ask the average person who he is, nobody knows who he is. So John Scobell was a slave, and he was educated and then freed by his owner. I hate that word, owner. But he was freed, and Alan Pinkerton from the Pinkerton Agency hired him to go back. And so he became the first Black Secret Service agent. So he was really the first Black James Bond, if you will. And they sent him back into the South with a woman and another guy, so 3 spies, to infiltrate the South during the Civil War. And all 3 got caught. And the woman, they gave a year in jail. The other guy, they hung. And John Scobell, they let go because they didn't think a slave was smart enough to be a spy. So everything you see in the movie, the story of Trail of Vengeance is not a true story, but everything he talks about in the past, everything that when she asks him questions about his life, everything he discusses, everything is factual. Every single thing. He had 2 kids. One died at a year old. The story I just told you just then, just everything about it, it was true. It's the first,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And it's the first time you're ever seeing this character in a movie, ever.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. And I love how you took what happened to Rumer, which that's not her. I'm speaking Rumer Willis, so you all know who I'm talking about. That's not her character's name. When she is over her husband, and her husband is murdered by these guys, but there's a secret that gets revealed that slowly that she's learning throughout, which connects her with that character. So I also love that you're not just giving everything away. It's little by little, and she's going through the human emotions of wanting to find who killed her husband and get back at him, and rightly so. Again, this is a Western 1875 time period. So, there's not a sheriff in every town. There's not someone you can call. And, but I really loved how you're connecting these 2 characters, a little bit of the real history with her and learning about it. And I found it fascinating. And Rumor, this woman, man, the character she played, wow, she went through it. Wow. I mean,
And she did
did she
all
have
of
a
her
stunt
own.
double?
No, she did all of her own stunts. Everything
Oh
you
my
see,
God.
she did. I mean, she's definitely a chip off her dad's block, if you will. I mean, she wanted to do it. We did it carefully. She got banged around. Everybody gets a little banged around. When I say that banged around, I don't mean hurt or anything, but if you're when you have a stunt coordinator that's working, choreographs everything, it still takes a lot out of you. It's a lot
No,
of
it does.
the you're still on edge. You still have this energy, and by the end of the day, you're burnt out. But yeah, she did an amazing job at it, and yeah, we're very, very, very happy with
She
it.
plays Catherine, and she gets hit, she gets punched, she's riding a horse. I mean, folks, it's a real. I mean, it was like, wow. I was impressed with. You didn't soft pedal the violence back then and
You
what was happening.
really can't. That's the thing.
No,
You can't. If you look at 1883, it was violent. That's how it was in
yes,
those days. And it's when you were talking about family. I mean, family was everything. You hurt somebody's family, and they're going to fight you to the death. That's just what it is. And yeah, just to clarify, she got punched and everything. It's all fake, but it's
yeah,
hand-to-hand combat. So, like you said, it's very physical what she went through. We have a great stunt coordinator that I've known for 30 some years. But yeah, it's you don't. I mean, it's very real. I mean, it's with the sound effects and everything else that we put in and whatnot. But yeah, it's you're exhausted by the end of the day.
and the reason I'm mentioning it is because this is not a kid film. This is not it's this warm and fuzzy family, friendly. Bring your 5 and 6 or 7-year-old. It really isn't because of that. It's a story that I love because it's realistic, and I think mature audiences will love. I don't even think it's rated, is it?
It's actually not. We didn't get it rated, but the people that we spoke to and distributors and everything else said it would probably be a PG-13.
I would say.
Yeah, the MPAA is okay with violence if it is period violence or if it's warranted violence. So if it was a current movie and you just had a guy that was a serial killer going around slicing people up and eating them, that's different than something that was, is historical. So it's historical, so they're a lot more lenient on the historical aspect of what violence was in those days. But as I said, there's no F-bombs or GDs or anything in it that and they allow you one F-bomb before it becomes a R-rated. By the second F-bomb, then it becomes an R-rated movie. But so the MPA, according to the distributor, said it would have been a PG-13. So, I mean, there are some people, kids that were 11 and 12 that watched it because they were, they've watched a million other Westerns and and stuff and understand it. So it depends on what your kids watched. But I probably wouldn't show
It's a PG-13 preteen crowd. I mean, that's kind of what I would say it goes.
Exactly.
Now, I was impressed. You shot it in 17 days
15.
in 98. Oh, 15 in 98-degree heat. I read in Northwest Arkansas. I mean, this was summertime when you shot it. I was impressed. I told you with the scenery, with a Western town. I'm like, where did you find this town? Because it wasn't just a cheesy little faux front. It didn't look that way. It was a real town, and the scenery was beautiful. I was impressed to find out how you did that.
Yeah, so it was actually in the upper 90s temperature-wise, and the humidity was 92%. And it was tough. I mean, you would drink 5 gallons of water and not even go to the bathroom. I mean, it was just wicked tough. But the town you're talking about is Van Buren, and that is about an hour south of Bentonville, if you know the Bentonville area, Northwest Arkansas. And we brought in 35 dump loads of sand. And covered the streets completely, even up the curbs. And then I had my visual effects guy, after we shot the whole thing, go in, because there were stop signs every street, and there were street lights at the end of town and whatnot. And there were signs that were modern day signs, like, balloons. There was a balloon store and 5 other things that, he created, like apothecary and like saddlery signs, and placed them over it and replaced the sky replacement and everything else. And, so it was, it's the magic of Hollywood, but it was it's a real town. So those stores that are there, the actual storefronts, they're not storefront, they're real stores, are from that era. They just have the signs that they have on them, or they put sidewalks. There weren't sidewalks in those days, and we had to put background players in front of like fire hydrants and stuff when we were shooting, and because people would walk in front of them, so it's harder to cut out a fire hydrant if somebody's passing in front of it.
Sure.
Horses and wagons and everything. So certain things we had to strategically place background players in front of to hide. So if you saw a picture before and after, it's night and day.
Okay, did the locals, were they excited to be part of it? Did you get to have a lot of local help?
Yes, they were super excited. We had over 100, they were reenactors. So they came with the wagons and their own horses and saddles and period guns and period clothing. And we couldn't have done it without them. I mean, the background players, and they're all listed in the movie, which is something that most, filmmakers don't ever do, is list your background players. You don't, but, they went so far above and beyond that every single name is listed, in the credits, in the end credits. And, if it wasn't for them, there'd be no scene. So, I learned that a long time ago from a very good friend of mine, Mario Van Peebles, very well-known actor, director. We were doing a movie called New Jack City, which I was a small part in. And before we started shooting, he went up to all the background players and he said, I just want to let all you people know that you're not extras. You're players, you're actors. And if it wasn't for you, there'd be no scene. So you are just as important as the main cast is, and don't think any different. Never forgot that, and did the same thing with them. And it's true. It's, there is no scene without them. I mean, they are just as sometimes more important. You can get an actor. You can't always get 100 people to be in the background, bringing their horses, wagons, and clothing. So I never forgot that when I saw that he did that, and I do it on every set that I go to.
Oh, wow. See, and they appreciate that. And that's a mark of a great filmmaker, I think, and he appreciated. Another mark of the beauty of your film is a man that I dearly love. We've interviewed him a few times, and he's actually a friend I've known for years, Isaac Alongi, your DP. He did an amazing job.
Yeah, well, Isaac also did Max. He also did he do the series Saved by Grace? No, he didn't. I've known Isaac probably 8 or 9 years. Yeah, and he's just a natural at it. He has that. He's just extremely talented. I mean, he just is. It's innately in him, and he's very passionate. He pushes and pushes and pushes. He doesn't ever complain. Never seems to get tired. We go home after shooting a 12-hour day, and we sit for 2 or 3 hours and watch all the dailies and stuff. And he's just as excited at 15 hours later as he was when we started shooting in the morning. I can't say enough about him, of how talented he is, and not just talented, but like you said, just easy to work with and passionate. And it's hard to find that. It's people always want talk about the money, but he's all about the project. All about the project. And
he's an artist. I mean, the shots and the colors and the way that that's what I appreciated, the color of the film, the look of it, it flowed all the way through. I mean, a lot of people may not pay attention to that, but if you would start looking at that helps make the movie. It creates the whole essence and feel.
The locations and all of that, the sound design, the color, all, these are things, that are important to me as a director, and I speak to each person. Isaac and I are on the same page of now, after working together so much, of knowing what looks that I like, and that, and be open to the things that he wants to do, and we just collaborate great together. And, when you see the sound, when you add the sound and the color and the music, the guy that did the score is phenomenal. I mean, the score in this is great. And that all, tells the story. Without that, that's part of the storytelling. So it's very, very important, layers to have to, like you said, it's, the visuals are just as much the story as the story is. So for people who may not catch it in the theaters, because I don't know if it's, in a lot of theaters in some cities, what are your plans for it? Is it going to stream? Are we going to be able to see it? Do you have plans at this point of what you're going to do with it? Yeah, so we are still in some theaters. We had great runs. Actually, we were in 4 Malco theaters in Northwest Arkansas, and that was Tuesday night. And believe it or not, combined theaters, we outsold Mission Impossible.
That is
It was our
stunning.
backyard, so that's a big thing. Most of the people that came, were in it and their friends and relatives and everything, but I can still say that. So,
You can still say it.
yeah, we were sold out in a couple of theaters, and there were 200-seat theaters. So it was great, but it is available on demand right now, and you can see it on Apple TV, Amazon, Fandango at home, Google Play, your usual pay-per-view,
Okay.
wherever you have. Yeah, and then it comes out on DVD June 10th. So
Wonderful.
yeah, it'll be all
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, Trail of Vengeance, Skipstone Pictures, Johnny Remo. He's done so many films that some of you have probably already seen and didn't even realize it. But we just love hearing from you, Johnny. Thank you for coming on and talking about what you're doing. I am so excited for you and your career. Anything that you have, like you're working on next that you can let us know about, or you taking a break for a while?
Yeah, there's another Western that's in the works, and then we have a drama that I really like. I didn't write it, I wish I had. It's an extremely well-written drama, and it deals with PTSD from the war, and it's pretty intense. Yeah, and we're talking to some pretty good-sized actors about it, so it'll be one of the two, God willing, that we get to do, and excited about both of them, and where God's going to take us with everything.
Well, we are going to have you back when you can put those out, and we'll do those as well, because I want to keep up with what you're doing. And God bless you. And we just thank you for coming on and sharing with us, and just wish you all the success and blessings for A Trail of Vengeance and beyond.
Thank you, Holly. I appreciate it greatly. God bless.
Thanks, Johnny.
All right.
What makes Capernaum Studios different from other movie studios? We believe in empowering filmmakers to make stories that matter, inspire, uplift, and transform lives. From historically authentic sets to state-of-the-art, fully equipped sound stages, we offer immersive LED and green screen stages, ICVFX virtual production, period to modern sets, a first-century village featured in The Chosen, and much more. We provide everything filmmakers need to focus on what matters in making their vision a reality, producing meaningful content affordably without compromising creativity. Discovering what's possible when creativity meets purpose. Capernaum Studios, empowering filmmakers to make dreams a reality.
A very different Western, isn't it? I mean,
It
we
sure
never see
was.
Westerns by Christian, producers and directors. We don't see that many. Good movie though. Rumer Willis. Wow.
I know.
Didn't she do a great performance?
And she looks so much like her mom, actually.
She does, and she sounds like her. She sounds
Yes.
like Demi. You hear Demi coming out when she said a few lines. It's like what. Demi Moore, for those of you who don't know it, she is Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's daughter. But she is really the lead in this film, which is, again, unusual, too, to have a female lead. She was a strong lead in it. The story is very compelling. Starts off with a married couple, and then, a catastrophe happens. These men come in and invade their home life and kill her husband. And she is on the trail of vengeance to seek revenge and also capture the guys who did it. So it's very interesting, the storyline. And again, it's also, Isaac, I thought was very interesting about a true character, John Scobell, who, he referred to as the first Pinkerton, the first black man who was a Pinkerton agent. And I thought that was interesting that, they brought the real true story in, but also with a Western. But I don't know. I liked it. Now, again, I like where he said about language, because there wasn't any, but there is violence, folks. So that's why I brought out, it's not really for kids. It's not a kid movie. It's not that kid friendly, but come on, you've seen Westerns, you've seen other things on TV,
Yes.
You've seen movies where you've seen characters hit and slug it out and shoot and all that. So you've seen it, but I'm just letting you know it's in there, but that made it more realistic, didn't it?
Yes, he did. But, my wife saw it with me, and she had an interesting comment on it. The first thing she said was, wow, this is a really good movie. And then she followed it by, I don't like this movie, which kind of threw me. It's like, but you just said it was a very interesting movie. What she didn't like was just how much violence there was in the movie, and especially that female character in the very beginning just getting smacked around, and it wasn't her type of movie. Okay, so I'm not saying it's not a good movie. It's a great movie, but it's just not her type. So it's not for kiddies. and it's apparently not for some women. And I say some because I know you loved it, didn't you?
Well, I mean, I did, and it's hard watching a character go through that. But again, there was a redemptive element in it too. She's praying over her husband's grave. She talks about faith with John Scoville.
Yeah.
So we don't want to leave it out that it's a Western. The bad guys are bad. Okay, they're really bad guys. So you believe that they're bad, which I like, because you're convinced they're going to do anything.
Yep.
They're not safe, bad guys. They're not safe. They really are dangerous. And but I liked that there's also the faith element in there,
Right.
and it's not overdone, like Johnny said. It's not overly done. It's just delicately done. He's not making Christian movies, folks. Okay,
Right.
He's making good films, good movies. He happens to be a Christian. There is a faith-based audience that love his films, but this isn't like for the Christian. This isn't a Kendrick's Brothers movie.
Correct.
Where However, we want to say that, but maybe someone will see it that would never watch a Christian film, but would watch this.
That's the important part right there.
They would watch this and go, wow, there's a faith element in this really cool story. So, yeah, I think it like, Bass Reeves, like Taylor Sheridan's Bass Reeves, how it had the black sheriff and he goes throughout this. It's much like that. It kind of reminds me of where there's still violence and things that happen, but there's the good, and there's a good person.
And, I'm all for making movies for the choir, movies for Christians, good, nice Christian movies. But the reality is a lot of folks out there, even Christians, by the way, are not really into that type of movie because they're just too sanitized for them, I guess. And they want to see something more real. But let's forget them. Let's talk about the non-Christians who definitely, for the most part, are not going to go watch a Christian movie. But they'll watch this. And within this, there is that element of faith that at least shows them the a redemptive value to the movie. So I think it's important to make films for them, and I'm glad there is a Johnny Remo out there making these type of films.
I am too. And he has Rumer Willis. And Rumer Willis will attract the other side, the other people that know who she is and are fans of hers that would maybe never watch a faith-based movie or a movie that has faith in it. But they'll watch this and go, wow. Of course. So honestly, I love that. Much like Brandon Lake, the musician artist Brandon Lake, and the artist is out there with Jelly Roll, and they're out there. People are like, oh, they're on these talk shows singing songs. But you know what? They're reaching an audience no one would ever reach in the faith community. So we have to take a stand for these kind of films. And kudos to Johnny Remo and The Trail of Vengeance, which is in theaters now, but it also, if you're watching this later, it will definitely be streaming. You can stream it now, he said. So you can go stream it right now and watch it.
Well, that's it for today's show, Holly. Thank you so much for another wonderful interview.
Yeah, we had a great show, didn't we, Isaac?
Absolutely. Folks, don't forget to check.
We're here to remind you guys to choose your movies wisely. That's why we explain all these things.
That's what this is all about.
Let you know.
Hey, everybody, check out our website, faithonfilmtv.com. That's faithonfilmtv.com. All right, that's it for today. Bye-bye now.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.